there, and welcome to another interactive and fun-filled Springboard Hangout. Your Springboard Hangout is your interactive and fun-filled program that seeks to enable us to learn, as well as hang out with friends that are in high places, and we learn so much from them. My name is Comfort Okran. For today's hangout, I can tell you that we are in the, you know what they call the areas that we are working with. And today we have Nana Essilfuah and Emma, who are both in communications. One is head of the Director of Marketing and Corporate Relations at Absan. That is my one and only Nana Essilfuah Tamakloe. And then don't go anywhere. If you have a friend who wants to be in that field, tell him or her to come on. And if you do have a business where you're wondering what's the next gig that you must do to enable your business have the top of mind among your clients. Therefore, I invite you. Do let us know where you're watching us from. Also share our page with others. And most importantly, please don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back. We have a beautiful song for you. It is by Joe Metal. His latest album, his latest release, Yobuami. And he announced it on this show. So it is our obligation on this show to show Yobuami. Let's listen to that.
No makwego chile Nengba mieli kabwa majaba Mieli kabwa moja Yehowa ngo Ikbole ngo Ihang oshane Monibuo ohele Ewo wodoin Na monibuo Israele Ewo wodoin Ni asang ewon biko Hey Yehovah aboy, boy, while I she, boy, could you call me by Kajabenami, Yashina no fair, Corona Nyagbebo, Noko Nyagbebo, yeah. Oh, everybody makes your voice say, You're one. Atayo wami, Imbamogo yosekra. Wachimi eno kamo, Atayo wami, yo wami, yo. I have no one but you, Jesus. Yeah. Atayo wami, yo wami, yo. But Jimmy no come on, yeah. Atayo wami, check it out, come on. Yo wami,
We are standing here in the Springboard offices with Mr. Malcolm Akaba, the proud winner of the Enterprise Group Wow Moment. He was in his office. Can you tell us about your story, Malcolm?
Yes, I decided to read tweets on Twitter, and I saw the hashtag, and I decided to join on YouTube. And fortunate for me, I joined at the time they were talking about how to win the competition. So I decided to join the challenge, and I won.
So did you download the app?
Yes.
You did?
And it's still on my phone.
Do you have anything to tell Malcolm for being the proud winner of the
sure. So
Wow Moment?
For us as Enterprise Group, we are always excited when we get young people, joining into what we do, because for the past 2 years, we've been running a brand campaign called Dream Big with Us. So we are just happy to contribute to your dreams and aspirations with this laptop. And we hope that, as Comfort said, you keep on using the app and you actually use our solutions. So congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so in this case, I would like to hand over the thing to you so you can present it to our proud recipient of the Enterprise Group Wow Moment.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. And I really pray that you use the laptop to not only achieve your digital dreams, but also see yourself in a good place come 5 years from now.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Welcome back. And I'm sure you were wondering what was that about. Well, last week, you remember we had the Springboard virtual convocation. And during the convocation, one of our sponsors, Enterprise Group, gave a whole laptop. And somebody was supposed to win it by downloading the app and answering some questions. And indeed, that was our lucky winner. He came by the offices today to receive his prize. So next time when you're having a Springboard virtual convocation or in person, don't forget to enter into the program of how to win the prize, because you may never know. You could be the lucky winner. So we come back to the studios and continue our program with Nana Essilfuah and Emma, marketing gurus, communication gurus, and we'll hear about where they started from. And then most importantly, we'll learn some nuggets, some really cool nuggets that we can use in our various spaces. So let's start from you, Nana Essilfuah. How did it start for you, Nana?
That's an interesting one. I had actually not planned to be in marketing originally, because I studied history and law in the university. So you can imagine that this was not my planned direction.
Okay.
But when I came back from the UK, I found myself in Nestle. And so in Nestle, when I started my career, I was actually in sales. So I was in sales for well over 5 years. But there was something extremely very exciting about the marketing aspect that I thought, okay, I've done the sales, I've done the territory, I've done the administrative bits and all of that. But then to create something or see something come to life was more exciting, because guess what? I did fine art.
Okay.
I draw, I can sew. Wow. So the thing is, I am a creative person. So I found that because I was going to do fine art in tech, and my father stopped me. A strict old man stopped me.
He didn't feel there was any future in it for you.
Not at all. Wasn't sure I could put food on the table. So he switched my subject, by the way, without consulting me. And I did, not challenge him at that time.
Yeah.
Times are different now.
I know, right?
So I find myself, pulled to marketing, because I thought I had a future in there. And so I switched and went into brands, and that's been my life. I don't know, consumer services, PR, communication. So that's been my field since then. And I have a passion for it. I'm a very passionate and a very, very agitated on the move person. Yeah. So there's never a dull moment for me. Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. And we'll look at some of the interesting moments that have risen as a result of being over 20 years in the marketing field at both Nestle and right now as APSA, as Director of Marketing. So let's look at you, Emma. I'm sure yours was more, you knew you're going to be in marketing, and therefore you just went straight for it.
Oh, I wish. But I guess it's the same script, different cast. Honestly, just like Essilfuah, I wouldn't have imagined that I would do communication. Though I studied sociology and French in university, but I wanted to work with people. So I wanted to do HR. But my first job after university was at the Nation Media Group in Kenya, back in Kenya. Okay. And I was doing marketing. And then we had just launched a business paper called Business Daily. I must say I'm proud to be one of the first employees of Business Daily. And when I see its success, I'm very happy, because we started from the street, giving out the paper for free and, getting people to get excited about it. Then went to the stock exchange where I was doing public relations. And then I was like, nah, I want to see what's outside Kenya.
Okay.
And funny enough for me, I'd never thought of really working outside my home country, but I wanted to practice my French.
Okay.
I think in University of Nairobi, we didn't have the chance of going to study abroad to practice the French. So I wanted maybe a West African country, live there, integrate, and then practice it.
Okay.
But when I was looking at the job descriptions, there was really nothing I could do in those French-speaking countries. But a friend of mine referred me to Ghana. I'd been to Ghana before in 2008 to visit. But I guess it's different when you visit and when you come to live here. A story for another day.
One is a screensaver.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
reality.
Things change when you're living in the country. But anyway, so I came to Ghana to do HR.
Okay.
And then it was for 1 year. That was the purpose of coming to Ghana for 1 year, practice HR for 1 year, get to see how they do it in a different market, and then go back home and work. Lo and behold, it's been 11 years of living in Ghana. And I practiced HR for 5 years, did my master's in HR at University of Ghana, proud alumnus. Then I was like, nah, there's something missing. I don't want to use the word I got bored, because I didn't. But I wanted to start dealing with the other side of the business. And lucky for me, the company I work with, Global Media Alliance, we're also an agency. So we do work with different clients. And an opportunity came, and there was an opening in the comms side of the business. And my boss was like, instead of leaving us, why don't you move this side? If you don't like it, well, at least you gave it a shot. Best decision I ever made.
Oh.
Best decision I ever made. There are sleepless nights, many of them, but they're always worth it. When you see your clients and their campaigns, and you know, behind the scenes, you're like, I was part of it. It's a proud moment. I love it. And I think the fun part for me is we get to work with so many different clients, from banking to technology to telecoms. So there's no boring day. Like, I'm learning so many different things on the job, and best decision, like I said. I don't regret it at all.
Best decision. Best decision. I'm sure you can even say it for 1,000 times.
Times a million.
You'll still go through it. Wow, best decision. So we have, but you know, the funny thing, interesting thing. So far, we've interviewed about, on this series, particular series with the Women on the Go with EWN, or Executive Women's Network. We've interviewed different ladies, and most of them, let me say about 70%, said, well, I didn't really start that way. But along the line, as I navigated my corporate life, I found myself into this
practicing
space.
it.
And then in the end, I found that was the best thing I could do for myself, and I'm really enjoying it. So then, in a sense, it implies, I'm not saying that it's true, that finding yourself, finding what you are really good at, helps you enjoy that which you do.
Yes, that's true.
100%.
That's true.
Yeah. So, personally, I'm a highly engaged person, but that's because I've found myself in a space that engages me, I'm excited about. As I said, I started in the sales area in there, but I realized it wasn't as exciting for me. But then the opportunity to create, and you know, especially starting my career in a place like Nestle, where you're doing consumer marketing. You know, now I'm doing services marketing, but in consumer marketing, they're tangibles.
Yeah.
I get to live and breathe products, research and innovation, developing products, testing them, tasting them, you know, seeing them come to life, packaging, you know, before you can sell them to the consumer. There are just so many processes that it goes through that it is exciting. That's what I said. There is never a dull moment, because this is not an aspect of the product in itself. Is it what did we say, 60-40? Hasn't met, you know, that measurement in terms of if somebody tasted your product blindly compared to competition. We call that the 60-40 test. Well, if I tasted it blindly, let's say if I put Peak and Ideal Milk here and you tasted it, will you choose in a blind test? If you don't pass that, you go back to the drawing board. and do look at the formulation of your product again. So every single time there was something new, something very exciting campaigns, like breathing life into products and brands. It's been an exciting journey for me, honestly.
You know, I like the way you're saying the breathing life into products.
Yes,
So
that's
is that how you feel about market, your communications field as well?
I think mine is a bit different.
Yeah.
I guess Essilfuah had the beauty of starting with the tangible. You can hold it, you can see it. But with most of the clients that we work with, we services. Yeah. So you're providing services to your end consumer, and you need to tell them why they should choose you over another person. They're not seeing the product. Some of the times they're not seeing the product. Okay, if it's a phone, maybe phone companies, you can tell them, choose this phone, it has this versus this, perhaps. But most of the time it's, we have a better network. What does that mean? You know, how did you tell that yours is better? You know, but you have to find the right message to tell the people. So you tell them what they understand. If you go to location A, I work better. So it means my network is good. I can be able to, if you're sending, let's say, money to a different, you can see that I'm not charging you. So of course you can see that it's free. Or if you use my digital channels, if for example the client is a bank, it will be hassle-free. And I mean, right now, who wants to walk into a banking hall? We call it the soft life. We like easy things. we want easy. We want easy. Nobody wants to be stressed, seriously. So they can be able to tell such things. So for me, honestly, it's the different aspects of each industry that excites me, such that on a different day, I would have dealt with, let's say, 6 different brands, 6 different industries. I would have learned a new thing. Today, I've just learned about the 60-40 rule from Essilfuah, which I didn't know. So at least tomorrow when I'm having a conversation, I can tell people, you know, there's this 60.
I love that.
There's this 60-40. And, you know, so you're learning different things every day as you go along them. And that's, for me, is the fun part, the exciting part. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I also learned the 60-40. I knew there was blind tasting, but I wasn't sure. I didn't know
60% of your
exactly. I didn't know what the percentage was as well. Just like
now I know.
Yeah.
When they do blind tasting.
Yeah. So if you get an 80%, then you are through the roof.
100.
Ready to hit the market.
Is it possible to get 100%? I wonder.
No, I don't think they'll give 100%, would they?
Okay.
Maybe no. You can come close, but anything above 60% means it is. And actually, even if it was 62, 65, what it means is it's good to go to the market, and you will constantly be tasting to ensure that the formulation of the product meets consumer expectations, so you can keep, improving it. That's the exciting bit about it, because you don't stop because I've put this product, on the market. You keep refining and improving it.
Fantastic. Okay, so having set some of the things that we do, I know that part of advertising marketing, we have different parts, including PR. We have pure advertising. We have consumer services, and so on and so forth. Now, if we decide that we are going to, we want to stay with the service marketing, and we go to our clients, how do we ensure that the advertisement or whatever we bring out will tell the story about the value of what our product brings to them?
Okay, so Comfort, I call myself a storyteller, because as a
storytelling.
Yes, because as a brands person, what really do I have to tell you to have a preference of my product over competition? It is what I'm telling you about my product or my service. That's the story I have to tell you, and that's what I'll craft in my message. And my message will have to give you the benefits, or what I call the raison d'etre, the reason for choosing my product over another, company's product. Yeah. And therefore, there'll be, some variables. What is this product or service that I'm offering to you? What is it going to do for you. Now, how have I crafted it such that when you read that message, you are able to immediately think, okay, I think this would work for me. And also, I'm not going to share the message only on one medium. That's the thing about branding, the consistency in ensuring that there's alignment with all your channels. What I say internally, but don't forget that my internal colleagues actually are my first brand advocates. They are my brand ambassadors first.
Yeah.
So what am I saying internally as an organization? What am I saying to my external, customer through pure advertising? And then when it comes to even my thought leadership platforms, what am I saying? How am I representing that service or that brand? And then to my PR, what am I saying there? So all my channels, I must speak with some consistency so that if you're a consumer, you find me consistent enough. The question is only not the message.
Okay.
When I say that I'm promising you this, what are my proof points? When you use that service, is this going to meet my brand promise? That's the proof point.
That is a proof point.
Yes.
So it means that all my communication, if when I go to an Absa branch,
Yes.
and you tell me that your products, when I go there, let's say you have a new product and this product will make me rich, and when I get there, I don't.
Actually,
After using it for some time, proving it for some time,
my organization promise is bringing your possibilities to life. And then my brand promise is to helping you get things done. So with that helping you get things done, I must use my products and my services to help you, Comfort, get things done. Now, so when you experience any service,
including going to school or maybe opening a new branch or something like that.
Yes.
That's your brand promise. And I've gone
Yes.
there, I've saved with you. Okay, so because you always keep your promise, I know it would work. So Emma, in this case, she has promised us, that she'll get things done for us.
Yeah.
And then someone goes there, and unfortunately there's a disconnect between the service that was provided for whatever reason and the person. Let's say, nowadays we have a lot of digital marketing, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
How do you, I'll presume that she's your client, let's presume she is your client, how do you then help her get the promise and the action together in your space?
So she has this product, she has these services, and she has various consumers, or let's call them audience. It's different audiences that you're reaching out to. So, not one product or service is for everybody.
Yeah.
So you need to understand your consumers' needs. Definitely, there's a reason why Essilfuah has launched a particular product, because she has done her research and realized that it's needed.
Yeah.
However, not by everybody. So it means she will also have to have another product which will meet the needs of other people. So one, is it meeting everybody's needs? In the messaging, how are they receiving the message? And the people who are, not everybody can, let's say, see it on social media channels, see it on TV, or hear it on radio. There are people who believe in watching it on TV, but it's not everybody who can hear what they're saying. So, for example, if there's an advert showing on TV, how is the consumer receiving it? Sometimes you're watching an advert and you can just, even when you mute, if you remove the volume, you can see how happy the people are.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, it means it's a good product. Just by that happiness that they're exhibiting, you can see it's a good product, right? So it means that there's something that you want to try. Who are the people speaking for you? Sometimes we believe a lot in, if Comfort is using it, Comfort is my friend, let me give it a try. Word of mouth.
Okay.
Your ambassadors, brand ambassadors.
Yeah.
I know you said we'll talk about digital later, but we're coming to the
Just
end
go on.
of ambassadors, and that's why we are saying people should be able to promote your product, so that if somebody who is influential speaks about why I should drink this coffee over this coffee, I'll be able to do it. So who are you using to reach out to these people? So she said different channels, and these are some of the channels that we will advise if Essilfuah is our client, that let's adopt various channels, because we have different consumers. We have people who are in the rural areas, they will not understand our advert in English. let's say it to them in the language they understand, so that, like it's in the local language, it speaks exactly to them and they know exactly what they want. So that's another medium. Taking your advert to the right people in the language they understand, with the visuals that they want to see, with the excitement that they are receiving it. So I think that is what I would advise her to go about it.
So then one of my key takeaways from what you just said is to say that understanding my consumer, when you're marketing your goods, understanding my consumer is really
very important.
key.
Yes.
In making sure that my message is good to go.
Yeah.
That's
You're going to
true.
say something.
And I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
About this. Imagine flying out, going through Cameroon and landing in Congo.
Okay.
And then going by speedboat to the next country, which is just 12 minutes by speedboat.
Okay.
So I mean from Kinshasa to Brazzaville.
Okay.
And what am I doing here? I'm actually going into people's homes, doing pantry checks.
Pantry checks.
Yes, and I'll tell you why, about the power of having good consumer insight.
Okay.
Going into people's homes, looking at what we call the LSM, the living standard measurement, and seeing if I'm dealing with the fives. How do they live? What do they keep in their refrigerator? What do they keep in their cupboards? How do they eat? And I spend whole days with families. I go to the market with them. I want to see their disposable income. How do they shop? So when they buy seasoning, for instance, when I was handling Maggi, I just want to now understand that how do you use your Maggi? In fact, we were handling the tablets.
Okay.
Why did we come to the powder for? We realized that some people feel it was a drudgery to pick the foil.
Yeah.
Right? But it's interesting, the two school of thoughts. So they prefer the granular one, that's the powder, so they can just use a spoon to scoop. Then you realize that when you have the insights about the choba owner, they count because they don't want pilfering.
Yeah.
Okay.
And therefore, the
prefer the
tablets
cube
work
one.
so they know
Yeah.
once they take the pack that is 60.
They can
It will
use
last
so many
for this
soups or
long.
stews.
Or
Yeah.
they can give it to the girls and then they know they can count. So I'm just telling you about the power of having consumer insight because I was also partly responsible for R&D. So I was doing a lot of trips into Cote d'Ivoire. But I was going into Kenya because we're going into Congo because we're going to
Launch there.
no, actually establish a factory in there. But we wanted to understand how
there.
the typical Congolese woman, especially in Brazza, just cooked. And it was interesting what I found out, Comfort, that when they have breakfast with the man of the house at about 8:30, 9, and he goes off to work, nobody in the family eats until he's back from work.
Seriously.
I am Lubumbashi.
The whole day?
Is the English part and the
Oh,
borders.
that's the whole day because he's out of the house. Wow.
Yes, but that's culture, and so then you understand how they cook.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
spend the whole afternoon. The woman goes to shop, brings the ingredients, and start the preparation. By the time the kids come from school, and it's waiting close to the time where the husband comes and cooks. And so you want to understand how do they use your product. That's
do
the
they
only
use?
way I can now message properly
Yeah.
to such a woman because I know how she uses the product
When she uses
uses it, and then also things that over my time, I'm just happy to have been across this journey because I've learned so much. Consumer behavior, shopper insight, just standing in a shop all day observing shoppers' attitude. Those who pick the box first, the full, look at it, take the smaller SKUs and look, probably comparison of price and say, let me put a big one down, let me take the small one. And after when you interview them on their exit,
yeah.
then you realize there's a price point thing. I can't afford the 60, let me buy maybe the SKUs
20.
of
Yeah.
20 or 10, and I'll come back
I'll come back
later.
for the other one.
You know, so this is the power of having good consumer insight. It helps you tailor-made your products, you know, and
your
messaging right to your audience.
Ladies and gentlemen watching us today, It's my privilege to bring to you Nana Essilfuah, Tamakloe, and Emma Wenani. They are telling us one of the things that is my key takeaway for today is that I have to know you so well. I think that was one of the things that pushed us to go to do the Springboard dialogues over the past 2 weeks to know our clients even better. And we have Mame Araba Nyakwa saying, hello, I'm watching from Domi Pillar 2. Bless you. And thank you for watching the Mame Araba. And then Efia B says, I'm joining from East Legon. Thank you for being with us from East Legon. And Teresa Amwate, you are also in East Legon. I think today East Legon is winning the prize. And Asiedu George, Emmanuel is from KNUST, joining us live.
Teresa is in my team.
Oh, Teresa, thank you. I send me a private message to let me know whether she's a good boss. Okay, then it will be just between the two of us. And Akosia Buaji is watching from Roman Ridge. Thank you for watching us, Akosia. And we have Lizzie Dan, who is from Osu. Now, there's a question to you from Kofi and Kumasi. When we come back, I'll ask you about that. And Eugenia Sam is watching from Amasaman, also watching you.
Eugene,
and then Michael, pardon? He's also in your team. Hey, today the team members
have come in plenty.
I know, right? And Michelle Tamakloe is also joining from East Legon, so another team member.
That's my daughter.
Yeah, that's your daughter. Oh, okay, Michelle, you are most welcome. We love you too. And Eugenia Sam says, great insights from Nana. And Eko Kwanza, you also say, wow, great insights.
Eko is from my team. Interesting.
you team members, you rock. You rock. Thanks for making their days so beautiful today. And Judith, Marilyn Adamwa, you're watching from Adenta. Not Emmanuel, but Kofi from Kumasi is saying that how do you measure the 60-40 during product testing?
I use it as a percentage. Normally, when you're doing sampling, you have tasters. Even in consumer marketing, you have what we call permanent tasters, and then you have the random ones.
Okay.
So I can use permanent for quick testing, but if I'm going out to launch a product, it's in my interest, apart from my regular tasters, to bring random. And so if I bring 100 of them and you taste my product blind, which means I switch the labeling and you wouldn't know whether this is Ideal Milk or Peak or, I have to mention the, or Milo or, Chocolate or etc. When you taste it blind, I'm expecting like 60% of them. So it's a percentage of the number of tasters that I bring. That I want 60% of them to say they prefer my taste profile.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Oh, Michelle has responded and said thank you and gave us
so sweet
laughter. Thank you so much. And Malcolm Akaba also says that very insightful. Right, at this moment, if you don't mind, please stay there, call a friend. But we're going for a quick break, and we are going on a game changer break. And when we return, we'll give a quick comment about that. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Zobo was a small town with a big problem. Their nearest water source was an hour away. The town's women fetched water from the stream every day, carrying massive containers for miles on end. But hope was on the horizon. Mr. Appiah, seeking to defeat the current mayor, had a brilliant idea. He would solve Zobo's water problem with a well. So he saved for a few months and dug the well. He had become Zobo's hero. Or had he? Come election time, Zobo's female residents voted massively against Mr. Appiah. Shocked, he asked why the women had voted for his opponent when they were most affected by the lack of water. The women revealed that fetching water was the only leisure time in their busy days because they could catch up with their best friends. And now, the well had taken away that leisure. Today, our game changer is talking to users. Mr. Appiah addressed an issue with his well, but he solved the wrong problem. By talking to Zobo's woman before he built the well, he may have found a way to provide water without sacrificing community, which was more valuable to them. Unfortunately, we often make the same mistake Mr. Appiah did. We have ideas and we think, build it and they will come. But users know their pain points better than we ever will. So talking to them provides nuances that help us solve the right problems. This week, I'll leave you with a quote from business coach Rashid Ogunlaru. Until you understand your customers deeply and genuinely, you cannot truly serve them. This has been the Game Changer with Jojo Okran. Have a phenomenal week.
I don't know how Jojo was peeping into our conversation because he's actually talked about the same thing about
I was just about to say that. I was like, this is so in tune with exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
He should tell us his secret. How did he know?
Exactly. How do you know?
You know, nowadays there's this whole artificial intelligence. You know, have you ever been, maybe you're looking for a vacation place to go to Mauritius, and then that week you'll be getting Mauritius houses over and over again. That's artificial intelligence. They're in our brains. Jojo, he knows it. Jojo is in our brains.
And the funny thing, I mean, just today I just called someone's name, and then I looked it up, and then they were showing me where the person worked, and I was like, no, I was thinking about it. I didn't mean.
That's where we are now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we return, we have Akosia from Akosia Boajua. You are from Roman Ridge, and we have Ifya B saying getting things done #, fantastic. And we have Marilyn from Adenta as well, and Salome na. You are watching us from Adesso in Koforidua.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And Teresa is saying, I'm learning from both. Thank you, Essilfuah and Emma. Yes, so much. Oh, Teresa has given you props. She says that I'm glad to work with and learn from the great boss. Please, this one, when we get to the office,
Some small bonus.
Thank you.
Or some small luncheon.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so let's now. We've looked at 60-40. We've looked at the need for us to look at our consumer very well. Now we have done all that. We've done all the best marketing that we know what to do through the whole gamut, and then something doesn't gel very well, and we kind of in a crisis moment. What do we do about crisis marketing, or how do we do that?
Okay, so typically what you will describe as a crisis, if it were to happen in the bank, normally we've got a crisis management team. So immediately, we will gather together. Now, once we gather together, everybody has a role. Remember, I'm a communicator, so I am there so that looking at the technical, and I am not the technical person. So let's say our systems have gone down, or maybe our ATM, is malfunction, etc. Don't forget, I'll have my colleague Ebo Richardson in the room talking to us about the actual problem that we're facing, and then also the degree of the issue. How concerned we must be, etc. Is there any financial loss to us? Then the risks, I have my risks. So as a collective together, led by Abna, the managing director, so immediately we'll hone in and identify the issue. Then we will have our actions panning out, because personally, if I have to communicate something to the audience, what would that be initially? It might be a holding statement, because at that time, maybe we have not really gone to the bottom of the issue. Because there's also nothing as bad as communicating too quickly and wrongly to your consumers, because then you're going to regret it. So you first must understand the issue. So at the moment, we will acknowledge that there is a problem. We are getting into it, and then we'll come back to you shortly with an update. And boy, when you promise, you must go back. Because the consumer is trusting you to come back with an update. don't forget, as I say, it's the consumer that pays me. So if my consumer is not happy with our service and I've promised that I'll come back, I will come back. But this in general, and then if it's either the next 2 hours we identify what it is, we will go back. And if we manage to resolve it at the end of the day, we will go back to our consumers or our customers and then tell them that issue that happened has been resolved. Each time, of course, we are apologizing to ensure that, they do know that it's unintended, but we do know they would have gone through some discomfort or, discomfort. So, and therefore, we do apologize. Yes.
So, Wenani, sorry.
And interestingly, Comfort have simplified it. Normally in the room, you have
it's so
all the
different.
heat is so different, You feel the heat.
The heat is coming from all places,
especially in my space. Once all decisions have been taken, now you go craft and move.
Yeah.
So you understand how when everybody has finished loading you, this is the actual issue, this is the technical issue, this is you go craft so that we go on. So now that's where
you must be able to ensure that the various consumer points are touched.
That's right.
With the right messaging at
That's
the
right.
right
So
time.
you might do social media to ensure that the audience that consume information on social media. And anyway, now social media is such that with all channels, even when you use it, you will want to be on social media.
Yeah.
Because if a damage is going to happen to you, the greatest, you're going to find it on social media because you cannot control conversations.
True. So Emma.
Yes.
She has attempted to wrap us. And we are looking at that communication, and they've solved it, and they've come to tell us the good news. Yet, as a consumer, when it happened, I was the only person, so I don't have that kind of voice that they have.
Yeah.
So as a young organization watching this particular program, how do I craft my message such that I can also, if I face such a problem as they are facing, I can also tell my audience, my consumers, how to
go
hold
about
on.
it. Okay. So let me take you back a little bit to something she mentioned, the importance of a crisis management team.
But we are just three in the company.
Still, those three, you have to give them roles.
Okay.
So, Comfort, you will be the spokesperson. Okay. You are the only one who will speak to the media. Essilfuah and Emma, you won't speak to the media. Emma, you will deal with the internal employees. Let's assume we are 10 at least.
No.
We're still three.
We are not going about
we are still going to be three. Okay, so the internal
team.
It's a very lean team, clearly. Okay, so I will deal, let's say, with the internal. So the three people, let me just simplify it. Give each of them what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
But it should be very important that there's only one spokesperson who is trained. You have to say the right thing to the media or to your external stakeholders. Your stakeholders could be the media, your shareholders, your consumers, people who are passing by could be your stakeholders, right?
Yeah.
So you want only one person because there's always that tendency of having different messages. So you want the message to be the same. You don't want two people saying different things and then it's like, but she said so and so. Secondly, you don't have to communicate immediately. Sometimes saying things too fast could work to your disadvantage. Weigh the situation. There's something we call a risk matrix. So if the risk of not communicating is high, then you might have to say, okay, so how do we communicate? If it's low, it means you have more time to communicate and therefore you can vary the angles that you take, right? Sometimes saying nothing will also just make things a little bit better. Now you, the consumer, you have seen that there's something wrong with company X that you're a consumer of, and you're wondering why they're not saying anything to you, and you're worried about it.
Yeah.
The reason why you're a consumer of company X perhaps is because you have used them over the years and they have not disappointed you. Sometimes it's not easy to avoid crisis. Crisis can come from different angles. You have competition. They can build crisis for you. So if I have served you for a long time and you trust in what I've been able to do, why not? Your customer relations, when the consumer calls company X, what are they going to be told? Will they be spoken to in a way that they will understand that we're trying to deal with this issue? Or will they be told, we'll get back to you? You know, we'll get back to you is very vague. Will you get back to me tomorrow? Are you telling me you don't know what is going on and therefore, you know, so that can actually aggravate the situation.
Yeah.
So even that message, when people start calling, what is happening is so important. Remember when we had the banking crisis in Ghana
Yeah.
a while back?
Yeah.
And you know, bank A is being closed. Now you're wondering, is mine next?
Yeah.
Should I go take my money and remove it from this bank? And you know, the governor said, no, we are doing everything possible to ensure that your money is safe. That was important because keeping your money with you is not safe. The place where you're keeping it is not insured. But here is a stakeholder who has come and said, this is what is happening. We're going to ensure that your money is safe. That gives you some sort of comfort.
Yeah.
Comfort. That gives you some sort of comfort. You might not believe it, but it gives you some sort of comfort.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I like what Essilfuah said, keep updating them.
Okay.
When there's a crisis and then you go silent, especially when you make the first communication, it means there has to be continuous updates until it is resolved or until the matter has reached a point where the consumers feel comfortable and they're okay with it, you know. And if, you know, there are certain consumers that you know you need to actually speak to them one-on-one, it's necessary.
So, let's bring this home to, let's say, a wache seller
Okay.
who, for some reason, somebody puts the wrong thing in the food, and there's, let's say, an upset tummy.
Food poisoning or something.
Yes, food poisoning. In this case, the wache seller, seller's clients are from desperate areas. You may not even have access to them.
Yeah.
How can this wache seller
know
what
happened?
Who to contact to say that you had this problem from my meal? Forgive.
Well, that might be a difficult situation, but what they can do, why can't they put a poster on their, let's say, kiosk?
Yeah.
And say that on this date, we got a few complaints from some of our consumers who bought the watch and they said that they had XYZ and they got food poisoning. We've looked at the matter and maybe we've seen that perhaps there was something wrong with the food. What we're going to do this Saturday, we'll give you, we won't give you free wache, but we'll give you, once you buy wache, we'll give you gari for free.
Okay.
You know, something to spice up and let them know that you care.
Okay.
It's better than, no, it wasn't my wache. Are you sure you didn't go and buy somebody else's wache?
I cut you. Please forgive me.
No. It's just to latch on the point that Emma was making about when you have customer loyalty. You know, loyalty grows over time. I don't get to know your product or your service today and then I go on a journey, a consumer journey with you. So I remember in my previous life, somebody has a coagulation with maybe a tin of milk. At that time, we were doing the 96, if you do remember, the 96 box. So 1 tin, you make a consumer complaint, and we'll bring you the whole 96 box.
Wow.
Why do we do this? And in other situations, somebody has asked me before that, so if my money goes this time, will you bring me a whole wad of cash? And that's the beauty and the difference between tangible and intangible.
I know, right? True.
So we bring you the 96. But what are we saying? We're saying that now we're sorry, we apologize, we recognize the issue, we value you.
Yeah.
Just that one individual, because you know, word of mouth is extremely powerful.
Yeah.
So we say we're sorry, we do recognize the issue, and to make amends. And in such cases, we drive ourselves to your home and present that and spend time with you. And actually through that, you get to understand a little bit of the customer life cycle. You get to know them a little even better, you know, just so you feedback. Can understand. And because you've complained, you've actually given us good feedback. So we fix whatever it is. Maybe it's a particular batch that must have gone wrong or something. In the same way in the bank, if there's a failed service, we do acknowledge, we do apologize, and sometimes we visit our customers at home just so, we can get to have a closer relationship, discuss the issue, and also make amends. Sometimes we take a hamper of something, and also sometimes it could be either a service that we want to give. We have so many things that we can offer, as even some of them are items, branded items, etc., etc. But I think the most important thing is not to shy away if a mistake or an error has happened.
Yeah, not to
because
cover it up.
it's a human society,
Yeah.
and errors and mistakes do happen.
Yeah.
But what do you do
To recover.
to recover when it happens? That's the most important thing, so that you can maintain or retain your relationship with your consumers.
Fantastic. What do you do? So on the note of what do you do, Emma, we have recovered, we've attempted to recover the clients. I think they are getting on our side. And
Okay.
so we have to now send some new messaging out. What kind of digital, so now we come to our digital marketing area. What kind of digital marketing tools or marketing strategies can we adopt?
So a lot of brands right now have social media presence. So they have their presence on Facebook. Right now we're even live on Facebook.
Yes, we are live.
Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. So, and you have different consumers who are on these different platforms. One, understand where your consumer is coming from, because you might be trying to use digital, but they're not on digital.
Okay.
So understand where consumer X is coming from. So let's say they're coming from digital. Therefore, your messaging has to be there, right? And sometimes after a particular crisis, you don't have to keep going back to that same issue. It's like you're rehashing it. What about the other good things that you as a brand is doing? Talk about them, right? Create an avenue where the consumer can interact with, let's say, your customer relation team, and just ask them questions and feel like they're being listened to.
Okay.
And then at the end of that, maybe a new product will come out of that conversation, which is like a thought leadership conversation.
Yeah.
So, people want to feel like they're contributing, they're being heard, right? So there is social media. What campaign can you do out of it, right? So we see a lot of campaigns on social media where a product is being launched. You're using a couple of influencers as your ambassadors, or you're having a webinar to talk about something. Last week, the country was planting trees.
Yes.
And it was on social media. Everybody was planting and saying, I've planted my tree. Have you planted yours? It was a conversation that people wanted to be part. So run that campaign and let your consumers want to be part. The only way they can want to be part is if they believe in it.
Yeah.
Right? If they feel that it actually meets their needs, they can contribute to it, then they can join the campaign. They can be part of the conversation. Make it something that is relevant as well, because sometimes you might be doing something. You're seated in your office. A lot of us corporates sit in our office and we feel like the game changer. We feel like this is what we should do, but no, it's really not what people need.
Yeah.
So make it relevant to exactly what people need, and your consumer loyalty. They'll come back to you.
They'll come back
Yeah.
to you. I
Just
like
pray
that.
that your competition doesn't create
Catch them
something
first.
bigger and then they go there instead.
In truth, sometimes the cost of switch is high.
It's
So
more
if you are
expensive.
able to maintain an existing customer, it's cheaper than to recruit a new customer. So it's important to do your very best, to retain your customer.
Fantastic. Unfortunately, once again, we've come to the part that I don't like. The fact that the time is almost gone. Dana, let me find out from you, or more like you share with us. So we have had a fantastic consumer. The person has enjoyed our products over and over again. We've created conversations. We're on the same boat with them. And we even have brought up new products for them, and they are really enjoying it. How would you in the case where this week, or I mean, Ronaldo, when we take the Ronaldo issue
With Coke.
with Coke,
Oh gosh.
how do we ensure that as a brand we are able to respond in a positive way, positive in quotes, because we've lost some money?
Yeah.
How do we respond in a positive way to somebody who we may have seen as a potential brand ambassador? The person say didn't tell our story the way we would have loved.
Let me pick it from the Ronaldo story, for instance. Sometimes either you're saying something, you're saying it right, or you say it in the simplest way, not to go on and on. Because I keep saying that consumers are just like you and I.
Yeah.
They can read in between the lines.
Yeah.
And therefore, do you have a message? If it's a service that has gone wrong, how do I recover? And that's why now CRM, is very important.
What is
because
CRM?
customer relationship management, ensuring that I maintain good relationships, and I must have different channels of communicating to you. Emma says something about social media. There are times things can spiral if you play in the social media game and you don't manage it. Things just spiral out, because sometimes I think even out of boredom, everybody's on commenting and people feed on negative information.
Exactly.
And therefore, do you have a positive message for me? That's why I can write you an email personally, so you can read it as a customer if there's a failed service. That's why I can call you. That's why I can visit you. Because, advertorials are for public, and it's almost what I call, it's a poster. It's speaking to you, but it's not personal yet. So I can put that out, but I want to talk to you one-on-one through the different channels that I have engaged.
Yeah.
And that's why I say when you are in certain organizations like mine, you're actually sitting on a gold mine, and that's data. I have data. So what are you doing with that data? Because that data, they are your consumers.
Yeah.
So it's how you mine that data and how you use it.
Yeah.
And you can use it to your advantage so that you stay very close to your customers.
We must use our data to our advantage. So,
Yes,
Emma,
it's a gold mine.
It's a gold mine. Emma, as we mine our gold here on the Springboard Hangout, what will be your final words to our consumers today?
To our consumers,
or to our viewers?
to our viewers, okay. Our viewers can be both the brand and the consumers. So let me start with the brands. I think I can't emphasize enough the importance of knowing your customer needs.
Okay.
Yeah. And going back, you might have known their needs in January. In June, they might have changed. Unfortunately, it happens. So you have to keep your R&D going. People change their minds on certain things, so it has to be going. So know your customer needs. For the consumers, don't be afraid to contribute to, sometimes we get these surveys that brands are trying to push out, and we feel, they're just disturbing me. Don't be afraid to contribute to it, because your thoughts matter.
This is, you always see it and you're like, but this is very important, because when we contribute our thoughts, it helps the brands become better at what they do.
Exactly.
So 2 things. Know your consumers, and consumers, when they ask us, let's give our thoughts so that they can be used to make better products for us.
Exactly.
Emma, any final words from you? Sorry,
Essilfuah.
Yeah. Okay. So typically for us in brands and marketing, we are now not even necessarily waiting only to hear from you. What we're doing is to actually studying your trends, your habits, and your behaviors, because we must almost be ahead of the curve.
Okay.
We must anticipate what you're going to need, in the next couple of years, to ensure that by the time you even realize you need it, we are there.
Something.
So you see, I've come back once again to consumer insight. It's important, whether I'm doing it now or I'm trying to work ahead of the curve, is very, very important. And also building a brand is not just the logo, It's not just, it's actually living that promise, and the proof points is what I can really give to you so you believe in my, it's not the mark, it's not the logo, it's not the tagline. Once I share tagline with you, do I have the proof points to make sure those taglines are true and are actually meeting your expectations?
20 years in brands and marketing put together. You've got almost 30 years here, and there's so much we have learned from the two of you. Thank you, Nana Essilfuah, for coming, and then thank you, Emma.
Thank you for having us.
For making
Thank
time
you for having us.
And thank you, EWN, for giving us such wonderful ladies to learn about marketing and communications from them. I would like to thank you for joining us today as well. I mean, we've had a great time. Don't forget to join us on Sunday when we first watching this on ETV again. Please join us during that period. And also, Alberts will be coming your way with the top 10. And this time, the final edition has the one and only, the life of the guitar band tradition, Ejak Honimo. He'll be sharing his first part of his top 10 with us. Don't miss that edition. It promises to be so exciting. And my production team, thank you so much for being phenomenal as well. For those who would like to get in touch with me, please don't, my number is 0544315161. Or you can join me on my social media handles, Comfort Ikran A, either on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. And you can also send me an email at comfortokran.a. So till we come your way again next week, be phenomenal as always and have a fantastic week. By the way, as I said, next week is my birthday. So we have God bless you and good night.
Turn around.